if you're working 10, 12, or even 14 hours a day and still feel like there isn't enough time, I want you to consider something. You may not have a time problem. You may have a systems problem. A lot of founders respond to being overwhelmed by working harder. We start earlier, finish later, work weekends, and still tell ourselves that once the business grows, things will get easier. But if your business requires more and more of your personal time to keep functioning, you haven't built a business that gives you freedom. You've built yourself a job. What is actually happening? Because being busy doesn't mean you're being productive. You can spend an entire day answering calls, responding to emails, posting on social media, following up on clients, sending out invoices, and putting out little fires. And at the end of the day, you feel exhausted. But ask yourself, what actually moved the business forward? Here's the difference between busy and productive. Busy means things are happening. Productive means the right things are happening. Because a founder can be incredibly busy whilst making very little strategic progress. The real problem here is that you're probably working in your business instead of working on your business. This is what working in your business looks like. Answering every inquiry, booking every appointment, sending every reminder, posting on social media, creating every social media post, chasing every invoice, onboarding every client manually, and responding to every routine question. This is what working on your business looks like. Developing your offer, building your brand, creating strategy, improving your customer journey, building partnerships, developing your team, looking at revenue and growth, creating systems that actually allow your business to function without you. The goal isn't to remove yourself entirely from your business. The goal is to stop making yourself responsible for every single function inside of your business. Here's how to identify the tasks that you should systemize in your business. 1. Client onboarding. If every new client requires you to manually send the same 5 emails, documents, and instructions, then that's a system waiting to be built. You could have a welcome email when they sign up, contract, payment instructions, client questionnaires, booking link, welcoming pack. All of these should be triggered through the process. 2. Emails. If you're repeatedly answering the same questions, how much does this cost? How do I book? What happens next? When will I hear from you? Necessarily need to answer those type of questions 20 times. Build the answer to such questions once. So create a frequently asked questions, templates, automated emails, and clear website information can do most of the work. 3. Content. Every Monday, you're sitting down thinking, what am I going to post today? What am I going to post this week? In this scenario, you don't have a content problem. You have a content system problem. You need to have content pillars. So for example, at Epic Network, our content pillars are based on branding, business, wellness. That helps to guide our content creation journey. Every Monday, I film my content. I plan my content. I personally prefer doing it on a weekly basis rather than a monthly basis in case there's something I need to chip in or change. So the weekly schedule works for me. So for example, I would film a long YouTube video like this one you're watching, and then I'll break it down into snippets or bite sizes for Instagram or TikTok Reels. So I'll excerpt second videos to share on those platforms. So that way, I don't have to be recording a reel every time I need to post on Instagram. This helps me to reduce the amount of time that I'll spend on content, helps me to reserve my energy so that I can focus on other things. Because, sometimes I have networking events to go to, things like that. Human connection. Can't just be creating content every single day. 4. Client follow-up. If you're relying on your memory to remember who you need to follow up, that's dangerous, because a CRM, spreadsheet, or a simple follow-up system can tell you the who, the what, the when, or the next action. Number 5, admin. This is where your invoices, your reminders, your bookings, your contracts, your meetings, and recurring tasks are all areas where founders often waste hours because they've never created a repeatable process. The first 3 things you should systemize. 1. Systemize what happens repeatedly. Look at your last 7 days and write down everything that you did more than once. Don't try to systemize everything. Find the repetitive tasks first. 2. Systemize what drains you. What tasks do you consistently procrastinate, avoid, or find mentally exhausting? So this could be admin, follow-ups, scheduling, content creation, bookkeeping, customer service. Because if it repeatedly drains your energy, then it deserves your attention. 3. Systemize what doesn't require your expertise. Not everything should be outsourced immediately, but ask yourself, does this task actually require me? Because if someone else or a piece of technology could complete it with the right instructions, then you should consider documenting and delegating it. What happens when you build systems? The goal of systems isn't simply to save you time. The goal of systems is to give you back capacity so that you get more time, more strategic thinking, better decision making, better customer experience, and more capacity for growth. And most importantly, systems don't replace the founder. Because if your business can only function when you're constantly available, eventually your business will start to consume the very person who built it. So, the next time you find yourself saying, I don't have enough time, don't immediately ask yourself, how can you work faster or longer? Instead, ask yourself, what am I repeatedly doing that could be systemized? I would like you to take 30 minutes this week, write down everything that you do repeatedly in your business.